Hi there, welcome back to the Player YouTube channel. Today you join me, if you haven't already guessed, with the Jaguar F Pace. And this is the new Jaguar F Pace, 2021 facelifted version of this car. Originally developed back in 2015, it set new standards when it came to mid-size SUVs. And for a company like Jaguar, it was a benchmark. But has it got any better? Well, we need to find out. Let's take a look under the bonnet, let's get it out on the road, and give you a good look round this new car, this facelifted Jaguar F Pace from Jaguar Land Rover. So first up, you've got to admit, it's a really good looking car. And there's a lot of reason behind that, because when this car was designed back in 2015, it was very much designed with the female in mind. And what I mean by that is nearly 80% of our choices in cars are dictated by ladies. So there you go, very interesting that for a fact. This car comes with an exterior design pack, a black pack they call it, which has a few extra bits and pieces, namely these 20-inch black alloys, which I really love. And you've got little bits of black like this, you get the styling at the bottom, rear privacy glass, you get this red metallic paint as well, really, really nice. That's all included in that exterior body pack price, the black pack they call it. There are 7 different trim levels in this car. So you can start off from around 40,000 UK pounds for the entry level, and then you can go all the way to the top of the range, the all singing and the all dancing SVR, which retails around 78,000 UK pounds. One thing every F Pace gets are these wonderful J-Blade headlights. They are LEDs. You've got the running lights here, double running lights, and then this running light doubles up as an indicator. So it's really nicely set up. I like this new grille. I think it's really sporty, really aggressive. And this new bonnet, the way it's actually laid over the front of these lights here, it's just all very much styled perfectly in my opinion. Let's get under the bonnet. Let's check out the engine configurations and the gearbox configurations. Bonnet release catch down here underneath. You have to lean quite a way down in the passenger side. There you go. Quite easy to remember that. The actual bonnet release catch is in the centre here. You just flick it over to the left hand side. Couple of really good gas struts on this as well, so they lift that fairly heavy bonnet up with absolute ease. Right, so there are 3 different diesel engines that come in a variation of brake horsepowers that you can choose from. There are also 3 petrol engines that you can choose from. One of those is a PHEV, a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, PHEV, I like saying that. That will give you 33 miles of electric power. Whether you're going to need that or not, it's totally up to you. Personally, I do quite like this particular car. This is one of the diesel engines, a 2-litre diesel engine, very nicely, very quiet, really smooth as well. All the cars come with a ZF 8-speed gearbox, auto gearbox. There is no other choice. You can't get a manual in this, but I think this car really does dictate that you have a decent 8-speed gearbox in it, and that's what this one has. Dependent on the brake horsepowers, depends on your 0 to 60 time. So we're in a range here from about 6.8 seconds all the way up to 9 seconds, depending on how much brake horsepower you've got on which particular engine. And once again, mentioning that SVR, 3.8 seconds 0 to 60 with a top speed of around about 187 miles an hour. This one has a top speed of about 121 miles an hour, which is more than enough for a car weighing 1.75 tons. Anyway, let's take a look around the back, see how big it is. Round at the back here, well, the good looks continue, because this car, even round at the back, is just stunning, I think. And again, that black pack that you can buy with these black badges here and this black styling at the bottom just really set it off nicely. You've got these lovely LED clusters as well. I love the fact that they're really thin and they just slide all the way through there. Very nice indeed. On the top here, you've got your DAB radio aerial up there, the old shark fin. You then got quite a large piece of aero on the back here with a brake stop light here in the middle, but this does help keep the rear screen from getting completely crudded up with dirt and all sorts of stuff. It just flies over the back, and I have been through some torrential rain in the last week and it really has helped with the rear vision. The only thing is this rear window is rather small, and it's not a hindrance, but I think maybe it could have been a little bit bigger if I'm trying to pick at bits and pieces on this car. Got a rear wash and wipe just in case you do get some muck in there. And just generally, I think it's a very nice looking car. No fake exhausts, we like that. We hate it when the other manufacturers put those massive, big fake ones on. Don't need to, really don't need it with this car. electronic tail lift, and that comes with every different trim level on these cars, so it's pretty standard. First thing you're going to notice, huge boot, 650 litres of boot space. You could put a whale in here, it's absolutely massive. You get the inevitable parcel shelf here. Now, I'm just going to talk about this very quickly because you know how I feel about parcel shelves. You know, if they go, you know, when you're out, you've got to take this out because you want to get a bike in here or a pram or a pushchair or something, you're going to have to take this out, so it can't always stay in there. Now, you are stuck with quite a large item here. Now, what I love about some of the manufacturers recently, you've been able to take this, lift this up here like that, and pop it in there. Now, if you look in there, it actually looks like there's a space to put this, but I have tried in every different way, shape, form or fashion to get this in there. And unfortunately, it just doesn't go in there, which is a shame because another, literally, like we are talking that much, and it would pop in there rather nicely. So I don't know if it's a fault with this. I think if I actually owned one of these, I would make a way of fitting that in there because otherwise you are stuck with it. And it's either going to end up on your passengers' laps or you're just going to leave it on the side of the road at the end of the day. I'm going to pop it here because it's rather an expensive item to do what I normally do with those ones that don't go in there, and that's lob them and say they're completely useless and that's where they belong in the bin. So we'll leave it there for the moment. Anyway, let's get under here and have a look. No spare wheel, no space saver. I think that is criminal, criminal. You should have a space saver wheel in here. This is a big, you know, it's a big car. It's an SUV. It needs a spare wheel. This latex and the pump, it's not going to help you out. It does not repair punctures. Why they keep putting this stuff in the cars, I do not know. So I'm sorry, get rid of it. Get a space saver in there. Or if not, you're going to have to invest in some run flats. It's the only way around this. And then that will give you the space to put your, you know, your parcel shelf in there. Anyway, we'll pop that down. Like I say, 650 litres, plenty of space. Nice metal scuff guards here. And what you will also notice is, look at the load level. Really nice. If you're picking up shopping bags or something heavy, at that height, you're going to easily be able to lift them in. When it comes to shopping bags, you've got little catches everywhere in here to hang your shopping. We like those bits and pieces. There's a 12-volt adapter over there as well. Got a couple of nice courtesy lights in there, little LEDs. It's all really, really nice. I like the way it's all been put together. You've got a little cargo net in here to put your bits and pieces in. Right, when these seats go down, 1,740 litres of boot space. Huge, huge. Let me show you. That's another little problem. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a little catch here you could pull and those seats pop down? Because now, to show you, I've got to go round and then I have to take each seat. There's a good split on these as well. So you've got 60-40 split, go around the other side. You've also got a ski hatch on this, or if you're in the UK, it's called a B&Q. I'll explain that in a minute. So there we go. Check that out. Massive, absolutely massive. I'm going to show you how big it is because I can actually get in here. Another thing, quite high there, so I didn't hit my head when I went in. But look at this. You know, in today's times where you're struggling to find a hotel room for a weekend away, stick a double mattress in here. It's perfect. Pull up on the motorway services. You're done. You got your breakfast in the morning. You can lie in here in bed. Anyway, let's get round the back, check it for the passengers. Is it going to be comfortable enough to take a couple of friends out for the evening? Let's find out. So in the back for the passengers, before I jump in, I just want to show you how nice this door, look how far back it goes, which makes actually climbing in and out of this car simple. That's, you know, that's good design. That's the way you should think about things. The other thing is I like the size of this window. It is huge and it's tinted like we mentioned at the beginning because this has got that black exterior pack on it, but it is really nice and large and I love all the styling on it. You've got a Meridian sound system in here as well, which we'll talk about when we get up front. First thing I noticed when I got in here was this panoramic roof. It really just fills this whole area with light. Not only does it make it nice and easy for us when we're filming, but it's also just a nice place to be. If you feel a bit car sick, it's lovely having that big panoramic roof. Highly, a good suggestion, highly recommend that. A couple of things where I think this car lets itself down when it comes to its price range and also comparing it to the competition. Things like there isn't really any independent rear heating. There is a blower control which you can turn up and down, but really you are sort of dependent on the passenger or the driver setting the temperature at the back here. Also I've noticed there aren't any USBs in here, just a 12-volt adapter. I mean, seriously, that in today's modern age, that should be just absolutely standard, 2 USBs, even if they're USB-Cs, it doesn't really matter. There's not a lot of room in the centre here. It's quite a high transmission tunnel. However, it's not that difficult to get your leg over, he says with a smile on his face. Sitting in the middle here, yes, you could definitely use this as a short-term lift, if you like, as in giving someone a lift back from the pub, or an extra person jumping in the car for a few miles. Wouldn't want to sit here for too long. It's not comfortable at all. And this sort of 60-40 split bit, this the ski hatch bit, the B&Q hatch, which I did say I'd mention, is in your back a bit. So not really a 5-person car, I don't think. But on the short term, yes, worth a lift. Now let's take a look. What have we got? So we got the Isofix points, pretty standard. Unfortunately, these are the poppy outy ones. They're going to get lost. You're going to end up having to buy a new set of these. The kids are going to lose them. So bear that in mind when you buy one of these cars. Recessed seat belts, good design, nice leather, good feel, good premium feel. And then unfortunately we come to the whatever these things are called these days. We used to put magazines and maps in there back in the day, because we didn't have computers and laptops and iPads and all things like that. But nowadays you just get like this granny sort of stocking thing. It's just horrible. I don't know. There's a lot of other manufacturers have overcome this now and come up with new different bits and pieces on the design of the back of the seat. But the one big thing I love in this car is the foot room in here. You can actually put your feet right under there, and it has got little lights down there as well, little LED courtesy lights. So at night this looks really lovely, the way it's all lit up as well. It's got some nice courtesy lights either side up here as well. And I said I'd explain about the B&Q, didn't I? The ski hatch. Okay, so let's talk about the centerpiece here first. You've got your armrest and you've got your double cup holder. But what we need to show you is the ski hatch. And there is a button here. You can do it from this side as well. So if you're out helping dad or you're helping out a friend, you can do this all yourself. And so this normally would be for skis or snowboards. Not here in the UK, no. We use it for wood. Yes, wood. So B&Q is a chain of DIY stores. They're huge. You can go there and buy loads and loads of lovely bits and pieces, especially on a Saturday morning. You see SUVs like this queued up outside, kids sitting in the back waiting for their McDonald's because they've been bribed with it to go out with dad for the morning and go and collect his wood. And that's why I call it the B&Q ratch, because you can put 2 meters of wood through here. Seriously, I mean, this is proper. Actually, yeah, when you get to a certain age, that's about the only thing that impresses me in the back of a car. Only joking. Of course, abroad, this is the ski hatch, and you put your skis in here. We haven't got that many mountains here in the UK, unfortunately. I'm going to pop that back up there, put that back up there, and yeah, just all in all, it is quite comfortable. You could spend a few hours in the back here. But most importantly, for me anyway, is finding out what this car is up front, what it's like up front. What are the new bits and pieces on this facelift version? Let's go do that. Right, let's check out what it's like up front. And the first thing you notice immediately you get in this car, it's very premium. You can feel that by the seats. They're really well bolstered. There's leather everywhere. I mean, there must be about 9 cows in here. It's a ridiculous amount of leather. It's all around here. It's all around the dashboard here. It is nice, but is it necessary? Ugh. My watch was just whistling there. I apologise for that. Okay, let's talk about this car, what you get for your money, because there's a lot packed in here. First up, you do get keyless entry and you get keyless ignition. So I've got the key in my pocket. I don't need to show you that. And we're going to push the button just so everything fires up for you. 11.4 touchscreen in the middle here. Really nice. You'll see it come up now. I'm going to shut the door for a second while it does its checks, because otherwise it keeps beeping away telling me I've left the door open. Down here on the right hand side you have a little push in push out button that sets the illumination in here, the luminosity, I think that's the correct word for it. You just pop that out and you can turn it up and down, so at night you can have this really subdued. If you're on a long motorway drive, you don't really need that glaring in your face. Next to it is the rear boot button as well, so you can open and close that from here, which is lovely. On your right hand side here you've obviously got your windows, and then you've got your unlock button here, and your lock button, because obviously when this car starts it automatically locks all the doors. If you're picking someone up, you want to be able to undo it just there, so you just push that, and for safety's sake it will lock everything as you drive off. Nice place for it to be in. Mirrors there as well, electronic mirrors on this car, and they're also the foldy-inny ones, so when you lock it up you have to double lock on the key. So when you lock it up, The mirrors will move in, but you do have to give it a second lock to make sure the whole alarm system is set up. Mentioned earlier on about the Meridian sound system. Absolutely stunning, this car. Really love the sound. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes when we get onto the TFT touchscreen. You've got your memory seats up here on the right. Everything's really easy and accessible. Another thing I love about this car is everything is easy to use. So for example, the cruise control, setting that, and the limiter and thing, that's all here on your steering wheel. You've got your lane keepy. But with these buttons, they're not touch sensitive. You do need to give them a good push so they engage, almost like a switch. So, and that's the same here with the heating system as well. You've got a fully digital instrument cluster here, really nice. And again, in the center there, it will mirror over the maps and stuff when you're driving. It's asking me to shut the other doors and stuff at the moment, so I can't really show you that there. Little trip computer on the end here. You push the button in there, it'll give you how many miles you've got left in the tank. It will also give you the average mileage you're getting and things like that. It gives you the date, and so on and so on. Just push that in and out. Light cluster, a windscreen wiper cluster, and then you've obviously got your flappy paddles here for your manual mode when you want to get it off, have a little bit of fun in it, let's put it that way. Left hand side here, you do have the Ask Jaguar button, same as Siri or Alexa. Just push that in. You can pre-program that to different things that you want it to do. So if you want it to, so you can say, tune to my favorite radio station, it will do that. You can play around with that. Telephone system built into this. Does have Android mirroring, it does have Apple Play. However, in order to activate Apple Play, you do need a lead, a USB, well, it could be a C or a normal USB. But it's not wireless Apple Play, which I was a little bit disappointed in. You've got the R badge down here, R design. So I mentioned earlier there are 7 different trim levels. The split goes 4-3 in favour of the sporty R design side, which has 3 different levels. And then obviously on the standard levels you wouldn't get the R on there, so you'd get another little mark on there which just says F Pace. In the centre here, you get a wireless charger, which is really nice. And just in front of it here is your gear selector. That's the 8-speed ZF gearbox that we've got in here. To the left of that is your mode selector. We'll have a decent knob, and this is a poppy, uppy, downy knob. There are 4 different modes on this car. So you can move from sport mode, which you've got, let's put rain, ice and snow, it says here. I call it the all-wheel drive mode. Yes, rain and ice, it's telling me here. You've got eco mode, you've got comfort mode and dynamic. Now when you go into the dynamic, I really love this, if I can get it to hold on the dynamic there. So we're selecting dynamic, it all lights up red. So everything goes red, almost like, a warning sign that you're suddenly going to get loads of power. It does change the engine note, it will give you a little bit more oomph in the car, but that's about it. Tightens up a little bit on the suspension, but to be honest, most of the time I've kept it in the comfort mode. And when I went on a long journey in this car to do the actual eco test on it, I put it into the eco mode and it was brilliant. Once you set up your cruise control and your lane keepy, it's perfect. The only thing with this car I was really surprised on, we didn't get the distance control. When you've got your cruise control on and it's got a little radar and it keeps you at a certain distance behind the car in front, doesn't have it on this particular model. So I'm sure you can get it on other models, but not on this particular model. Very disappointed in that. Let's start at the back here. So we've got this nice sort of leather. It is a good place to put your arm. It's comfortable. It's a cruising car at the end of the day. I think that's what this is, with the option to go off-road, of course, because that's where it fits in perfectly. Inside here, you've got a standard USB. You've got a USB-C. You've got a 12-volt adapter in there. And yet again, another 12-volt adapter here. 12-volt adapter in the back. Do you know what? I reckon Jaguar had a load of leftover 12-volt adapters, and so I went, "Here, Gary, we need to get rid of a load of 12-volt adapters." "Oh yeah, I know what we do then, Sid. Let's stick them all in the F Pace, because you've got 1, 2, 3. Maybe there's another one inside the glove box. Should we take a look? Let's have a quick look in the glove box. Normally there's a massive great owner's manual. Fortunately there isn't, and there aren't any more 12-volt adapters in there. I was only joking anyway. That's more like it. That's what I like to see. A bit of leather care kit and yeah, some just information bits and pieces. Don't need those owner's manuals anymore. Can get everything online now, and in a lot of cars I've been testing recently, they come up, you can actually have the owner's manual comes up on the screen here. Anyway, let's shut that. We like that. It's nice. It's very premium as well. We've got double cup holder in the middle here. We've got a place to put some change and keys, and then neatly tucked away under here. If you look, there's another little hidey place under there. Quite like that. And there's one this side as well, because it goes all the way through. You can actually feel my fingers through there. Oh, it's quite nice. Now, Guys, you know I love a knob. I love a decent knob. Let's talk knobs for a few minutes. You're probably wondering where I'm going with this. Look, decent sized knobs. And these aren't just decent sized knobs. These are proper multifunctional knobs, because if you push this down like that when the engine's running, you can actually set your heated seat temperature. And then if you pull it back up one like that, you can actually set the fan like that, and so you don't have to have it on the auto. You can just set it where you want and push it back again, and then you just turn it to left and right and it will adjust your temperature settings as well. I love that. It's a multifunctional knob. Who's got one of those? Jaguar F Pace has. Not too keen on this. If you push the auto buttons and this, you really have to push to actually get them to work. So they're not like a touch. You have to push it to get it to come on. And then it's going to make a load of noise now, so I'm going to turn it back to 1. There you go. Look at that. So easy when you know how, isn't it? That's what they all say. So on your touchscreen, 11.4 touchscreen here, absolutely stunning. You've got your media talk radios come up there. There's the DAB radio. You've got your phone settings. You've got your map settings. I mean, yeah, all in all, it's beautiful. I love the way it sits back here. Look how thin it is as well. It's really thin. It's almost as thin as my hand. Perfect. That's how it should be. It's got a lot of anti-glare on it as well. Last but not least, two most important things. You've got your blind up here, which goes back and exposes that wonderful panoramic roof, and a place to put your shades up there. Speaking of shades, I'm fed up of sat in the shade. I want to get out on the road and road test this car and give you our opinion on this F Pace. Let's go do it. So here we are out on the road in the F Pace, and I've purposely brought it into the country lanes around the UK to give it a good test, to give it a run, because this car is a bit of a sheep in wolf's clothing, shall we say. It's not the other way round, because to be honest, from the outside it looks big and aggressive, and you know, it sort of gives off, it's almost bigger and bulkier than what it really is. And that's what I mean by a sheep, because when you get in it, it's very smooth and refined, and it's nowhere near as big as what you feel. It's got really good all-round peripheral vision all around the ear. It's got a lovely big windscreen. I really like this panoramic roof. It's a bit of an extra, but I think it's so nice. One, it's great for your passengers because they feel like it's a bigger and airier space, but two, it just, all in, it just gives you a really nice feeling when you're driving this car, especially through these country lanes, because you can see above you as well as around you. Just loads of light in here. Number of safety aids on this car. Obviously you've got the lane keeper, you've got the cruise control, we've got blind spot mirrors. Essential, today's modern driving, absolutely essential. Come as standard on this car, really like that. Autonomous braking, front and rear. And a good thing about this, the camera that's on this car, the reverse camera and the forward camera, both of them can detect cars coming. So as you're reversing out, if you're in a difficult little situation, you've got to reverse out, and you know there are other traffic, people using the road, bicycles, cars, whatever, it will sense those. And I've got to say, it worked for me very, very well indeed. When I had to pull out from somewhere the other day and there was a car coming, no one saw it, and luckily this car stopped. It was perfect, exactly what I was going to expect. NCAP 5 rating goes without saying. You know, there's enough airbags in here to fill a whole room full of air if you want it to. You're going to be absolutely as safe as houses in this car. And I think that's what I love about this Jaguar, is the surety of it as well. The suspension on this car, excellent. However, this car has got the adaptive suspension pack. It's an upgrade. It costs £900, and I'm telling you now, if you're going to spend over £40,000 on one of these cars, I would suggest you definitely add the adaptive suspension pack, because it just makes this whole car much more versatile as well. And with that comfort mode setting, with your off-road setting, it's just so nice. Really love it. Gearbox wise, don't forget we've got that ZF8 speed gearbox. I've mentioned it before a couple of times. One thing, when you want, on the gear selector here, when you want it to go into sport mode, just double click down and it goes into sport mode. And then there's obviously a manual mode for your paddles as well. And don't forget, you can also put it into your our dynamic mode over here, which is quite easy to do just on that mode selector as well. All in all, this car, for a £1.25 ton car, it moves, especially in the low gears. It will take off like it's in a bit of a hurry. Let's put it that way. And you would think that, I mean, this particular car we're driving is the D165. It's in the S trim. So there's 7 different trims. This is the S trim. And obviously, you know, this is the R Dynamic, so it's the sportier version. It's got those few extra bits and pieces. And also, don't forget that black pack on the outside, the black external pack, that is an extra as well. So just letting you know, just so as we're quite clear what we're actually driving here. But this D165 is the most popular selling car in the F Pace range. It's a 165 brake horsepower. It's a 2-litre diesel. You would think we're probably not getting the best of economy. Well, going around the lanes at the moment, I am currently getting 35.4 to the gallon. Not bad for around town. We'll call it around town. It's country lanes. I took it on a 120-mile run the other day. Fantastic, really good. Had it in the cruise control, 70 miles an hour. That's the UK speed limit. Sat there for pretty much an hour and 3/4. Just beautiful down the highway. 53 to the gallon. Now Jaguar quoted me 42 to 45 to the gallon on this particular car. Can't beat that. 53 to the gallon. This is a driving car. It's a driver's car. It's Jaguar. At the end of the day, they build cars for people who love to drive. And I think that's what you've got to do to appreciate this car. If you're going to buy one, go out and see if you can get an extended test drive, for example, and always test drive the car that you're thinking of buying. Don't try and don't get a car with a 165 and you want a 250 horsepower, for example. I'm not saying there is one like that, but get the car you want to buy that you are thinking of buying, because it's so important. A couple of other important bits and pieces that I'd like to mention. First of all, the actual depreciation on this car. Now, you probably think, well, why is he talking about depreciation? It matters, because this can make a big decision as to whether you go for personal leasing on this car, or business leasing, or you actually buy the car. And I think with a 60% residual value, which is what they are predicting with these cars after 3 years, it's highly likely that the finance levels on this car are going to be so good, it's going to be quite tough to actually get yourself one of these cars. So check that out, just double check that. 60% residual value after 3 years. Pretty good for a car of this sort of stature, this type of car. It's quite unusual. Another thing which is really good as well, Jaguar offered a 3-year unlimited unlimited mileage warranty with this car. Again, that's something, I think is pretty good. It's not the best, we know that. There are companies out there who will remain nameless that offer 7 years and 5 years unlimited warranties. But I think for a British car manufacturer to produce a 3-year unlimited warranty, it shows a bit of faith in the product. There you go, guys. There's a lot of others out there that don't offer unlimited mileage, trust me. I've done a lot of reviews on them recently. Servicing on this car, again, I was quite shocked at the cost of this. So be prepared for this. 340 UK pounds if you've got a petrol version of this. I think that's very good. And 440 pounds if you've got the diesel variant of this car. So I don't think that's a lot of money for a full service on a car of this nature. Price wise, I think it nails it. It's coming in just over 40,000 UK pounds. Okay, if you want to go silly and spend 78,000 pounds on the SVR, be my guest, because it is a beautiful car. I have driven it, by the way. Unfortunately, I didn't have an opportunity to film it, but it was good fun. I think this car, given the fact in the way it is at the moment, the climate that we're currently living in, it's definitely got to be in your top 5 of go and test and see what you think cars. And that's the way I think I'm going to leave our review today. On that note, I think it's important you test drive it. I can say, I can wax lyrical about this car all day, but at the end of the day, it's down to you. So there you have it, guys. Another video from AJ the Player, and I hope you really enjoyed that one. I did. I enjoyed making it as well. But before you go, I'm going to give you something for free. Yes, something for free. It's called the Player Bookazine. Now, if you're not aware, the Player is a much bigger organisation than just a YouTube channel. We are part of a big magazine. It's a bookazine for guys. It's got cars, it's got boats, it's got planes, golf, helicopters, interviews, everything us guys love. And ladies, if you are watching, please feel free to have a look, because there's nothing untoward in our pages. It's all there for everybody to enjoy, but it's mainly geared towards a male lifestyle. There you go. Now, you can have the online version of this completely free of charge. You can't have the big book That costs £100 each. I'd love to give you one for nothing, but I don't think my boss would be too happy about that. But you can have the online one, and we're not even going to data capture off you, because all you've got to do is put your name in and your email, and then you can download it, or you can actually flick the pages online, because the clever bods at the player have made it so you can do it with your finger or a mouse. Very clever. I love using it. It's great. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, so now you need to know how to get that. Two ways. One is, hang on, pull that in there. There you go. www.theplayer.co.uk. Go straight to the subscribe section. Just stick your name and your email in there, like I said. Hang on, I'll leave it up there for a minute so you can remember. I'll do better than that. Ready? There you go. Up there. There's a link straight through to the website. Go there as well if you want. When you get there, just fill in those details that I told you about. Simple as, and it's all yours, and you don't owe us anything. And don't forget, like, subscribe and comment to the actual AJ the Player YouTube channel, because if you subscribe, then you're going to get, you know, regular updates. If you leave the bell sign unchecked, of course, do that. And then we're putting up different videos every week. You know, could be anything. Even I don't know half the time. That's good fun about doing this job. One thing I would like to ask you is don't forget the thumbs up, guys, because I don't get pay rises, I don't get bonuses, you know, there's no more money in it, but it is pat on the back from the boss and the sponsors. It means we're doing a good job. If you don't think we're doing a good job, don't give us the thumbs up. But if you do, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next week with something else.